So, hello. Been thinking about there was when I communicated with the ghosts in the house. Well, I can feel emotions everywhere I go. I feel what the emotions are of people in their cars that I can't see. And I also feel where there is emotional energy stuck in a house, which are ghosts, in my opinion. So, a couple months ago, when I was, I wish I would stop banging that fucking thing. Anyways, so I felt the pain of the ghosts. I walked up the stairs, and, gosh, there was just so much sadness. But I'd already understood that a lot of horrific abuse happened in the house I currently live in. And I also understood that because I had sensed into the pain of the ghosts, that they were going to help me further understand what happened here. And in a dream, my brothers appeared on the steps, my two younger brothers. And I understood that the pain was about them. So I think that I lived in this house in a previous lifetime. Maybe I was their mother and being abused by the father, and I wanted to help them, but I would be abused if I helped them. So I'm sure I did what I could. I feel like I've been a mother in a lot of lifetimes, or played that role, even if I was not. And this lifetime, it's always kind of up for debate in my mind whether I want to be a mother again. I know I do, but it's just my heart goes out so much to the child that it's painful, and I never want to feel again like I can't take care of my child adequately. And I don't know that my son really felt this way, but I knew in some ways with me that he was having the experience I had as a child, because I would come home from work and wouldn't really be able to do a fucking thing because of how tired I was. So sometimes I'd take him straight to do something, but we'd only usually do that thing for a half hour, sometimes 2 hours. I just feel like I didn't do enough, that he had a normal childhood. I think he had a better childhood than me, because he saw me sticking up for myself with people and telling the truth and changing reality. And I probably underestimate the impact I had on him. I just wanted him to have a mother that was always available, and when I was home, I was always half asleep. So that was that. I did my best to help him have a different reality, no matter how tired I was. And it just became clear that I couldn't do enough for him. And for him to have a good life, I'd have to send him somewhere else. So that is essentially what happened. He went with his dad first, and I don't think his dad treated him great. But now he's with an adoptive family that loves him, so they take him on vacations all the time. And I think he has like opportunities and gets to explore his interests in a way that he couldn't with me because I didn't have the time or resources. He is a very intelligent child, so I'm glad it's working out better for him now. When he was born, he didn't cry like at all. And he just had this serious look on his face. And I was kind of like astounded. I'm like, this child is smarter than me. I wasn't jealous, but I mean, I knew who he was. And it's like from that moment, I also knew that I couldn't do enough for him. You know? Love isn't always enough for a special child. They need like opportunities and resources. So, things I wish I'd had, but then I know that we're all meant to end up in the families that we end up in, to learn whatever we're supposed to learn. It doesn't excuse abuse, but often abuse happens because the parent was abused. So just keep that in mind. But it's also like my mother, I'm sure, was an abused child. You know? I don't know. I like to believe that everyone's doing the best they can, even though it's not really sufficient for the kind of people I want in my life, usually. But it's like when I call people out on their shit, part of me knows that they knew better. And that's what's hard. That's like someone who knows they're being abusive and continues to do it without remorse. So you know that like what they did was calculated. Christmas 2021, I went over to see my mom. She was making chicken noodle casserole, something she made for us a lot growing up. We were never allowed to question her or disobey her. It was pretty sinister that way, like a dictator. But this woman, my mom was getting her master's in piano performance. And I went to the same music school before I got kicked out. And trying to keep some light on my face here. That's not working. I applied for John Lennon's songwriting scholarship. I was a state finalist. I think it's a national competition. So, I mean, that was fucking cool. Anyways, the woman, because my mom had gone to music school, had known my mother. And I was like, oh, what was she like? Because my mother had since been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. And the woman said, well, she was constantly late, and she said like 3 other things that were not good recommendations of my mom's character, but they weren't said in a crass way. She was just kind of, that was your mother. You know, like she didn't dislike her, and she definitely had compassion for me. And that was cool. I think I turned in my songwriting entry. I think I got the date wrong, or I was an hour or 2 late or something to turn it in, but she still mailed it for me. So that was fucking cool. It's kind of like why I had to stay around that town for a while, is because I just wasn't ready to move on. And my mom was there, and there were people in Missoula who seemed to care about me and have compassion. Like that some part of them could see how sad I was and understood the abuse that had happened in the family. I always ask myself if my mom is like a psychopath or a narcissist. I once asked her if she can always feel other people's emotions, and she said yes. And the way she said yes made it sound like she was kind of disturbed by this, like it was really difficult for her. But on the other hand, she acts like someone narcissistic. So it kind of makes me think that my mom has different aspects of her at different times, which I also have noticed. When I would take her out to movies and stuff, in 2019, I really enjoyed that time with her, because I felt like I was helping her, and I would take her to church on Christmas Eve like she liked to do. Kind of everyone just needs someone to care about them, but you gotta draw a line when it starts to get like abusive between you and someone like that. But my mom was pretty peaceful to me during that time period. I mean, I felt like there was some love between us. Maybe it was just me caring about her, but well, if she cared about me, it was because I was caring about her, so it was somewhat conditional. it was more like she felt good because I was doing something for her, which is not a crime in itself, but it's not really how you want the mother-child relationship to go. But, you know, I parented my mother. That's what happened. So. I try to, like, treat my brothers like a mother because, well, it's already, like, what I'd been doing. But it got pretty intense after she left when I was 14. Well, I was 15, but my ex-husband, who always thought he was smarter than me, a part of me just thinks like these people are more damaged than I was. But that can't be true because, like, I know what the energy of what my brothers felt was now because the ghosts in the house, in which I always had compassion for my brothers either way. But it's hard to know they went through that much pain. Some people have a higher capacity for pain. And I'm one of those people. Like, I know that I was abused in a very severe way. We all were. But what happened to me was like 10 times worse. I just found a lot of different ways of coping. And I excelled at a lot of things. And like when I wasn't getting awards or excelling anymore, damn it, light. One sec. I'm getting more light. I realized I never changed as a person, even though I went through periods where awards weren't really on the table. But, I mean, I said I wouldn't give up no matter how hard life got. The awards made it a little easier, but they also can feel pretty hollow when that's like the only love you're receiving. You know, acknowledgement of what you did, not who you are. So, it's just, I know some of what my brothers have done is like know how they're treating me is wrong, but do it anyway. I feel like I have been their social experiment to see how much abuse I'll take. Well, I'm not taking abuse anymore. So, someone left, comment on a song I sang. I literally, like, wrote them 37 responses, having an entire conversation in abstract about how they treated me, which I was, like, laughing the whole time. Oh, I got nothing better to do. It makes me happy to stick up for myself, especially, like, sometimes the best way is stick up for yourself. is to confuse other people. Okay, my phone's going dark. Bye.